All right, a quick talk through of the real VIR Grand West configuration. Again, stuff I mentioned before, it is a technical track, elevation changes, combinations of turns, decreasing radius turns, very fast track, plenty of triple digit areas, and plenty of areas to get into trouble. So let's run through the configuration and talk through that. You can see coming up here onto the front straight, the entrance to pit road off to the right. There's pit road off to the right, and then the start-finish line, the little stand there onto the right, and we'll go down the front straight. I'll mention here, you can see the exit to pit lane off to the right and that white line that you do not cross. As a matter of fact, when you come out of pit lane, just stay to the right. Don't even try and bother merging to the left or into the braking zone. Stay to the right all the way to the turn. It's a real fast straight. I imagine some of these cars will be over 130, maybe even 140 miles an hour. You can't merge with that. Just stay to the right until you turn, and then, you know, you're on your way. All right, so you come up the straight, brake hard, all the way to the edge of the pavement, all the way to the edge, and then you're gonna turn in, apex at the end of the inside curbing, gradually unwind and apex at the end of the outside curbing. Now this bend is a bend. There's no real straight here, so as you go through it, you'll see you gotta straighten out the wheel and kind of make your own straight so you can get some braking to make the next turn. So go through, nice steady bend, and then straighten it out, get on the brakes real quick, and then you can turn into this turn, which is called NASCAR turn. All right, brake hard, very tight turn, and you want to stay to the left. You really don't want to track out here because you want to be set up for the next set of turns. A right-hander, and then this next right-hander leads into some S's, and S's that are surrounded by tire wall and metal. So you want to get the first turn right because everything else is so much easier if you do. It'll almost feel like a straight. Also, if you screw up the first turn and you start sliding and overcorrecting, very good chance of wrecking the car. So this is a great example. Slow in, fast out. Get the first turn right, and then you're just kind of bouncing from one curbing to the next and almost a straight line. All right, now before we go up to the uphill S's, and I talked about this in the VIR full walkthrough, I'm going to slow down, usually down to 100, but I haven't driven this in Duffy, so maybe I'll bring it down to 90, but just to a speed where I can stay on the throttle but be in control and not feel like I'm sliding at the edge of traction, because these are very fast turns. Another real important note is this is where the difference in driver skills is going to show up a lot. There'll be people trying to enter this at 120 and people trying to enter at 70. So you really want to look ahead of you and check your mirrors and make sure you're prepared for anyone that's going to catch you really quick or anyone that you're going to catch really quick. Definitely if someone's flying up behind you, give them the point by. Let them go. There's no point in fighting for position while you're doing triple digit S's. It's just not worth it. All right. So I'm going to brake, get it down to about 100, and then go in. That way I can stay on the throttle and keep it nice and steady and not worry. Now as we come up on this turn, we want to get back over to the right of the track for the turn and touch our brakes, but we want to make sure we're over that hill, we're pointed straight. That elevation change, they're kind of coming downhill. If you're not pointed straight and the car isn't settled and you touch the brakes, you're going to go off. And this is a good time to bring up going off. You don't want to do it because, one, there is a chance of rain, and because we're doing a 24-hour race, even if it doesn't rain, during the night and early morning, the grass will be covered in dew. It's going to be wet, and if you've ever gone off in wet grass, it actually feels like you accelerate when you touch that grass, and you could easily slide at these speeds all the way across the infield, all the way to the outside, and get T-boned going down the back straight by someone doing 100 miles an hour. So again, slow in, fast out, and just keep it under control, and don't go off. All right. So I'm going to brake, get it down to about 90, and then turn in. Now this turn, I think I covered on the full course, can be tricky. You do not want to lift on the throttle because the track is falling away. And if you do, you'll wind up sliding into the tire wall on that inside left. All right. Brake hard. It's kind of a two-parter. This first part of the turn, brake, make a little straight, brake some more, and make it through Oak Tree. All right. So now for VIR Grand West, the real, or is it West? yeah, Grand West, the real configuration, we're going to split up this straight and turn in at this first turn called the bitch. That's its actual name because it's a decreasing radius off-camber turn. Brake hard and early and get your speed way down. You want to enter slow. You could enter faster, but what happens is you run out of track and space by the time you come around to the other side of the turn. So enter slow, and you'll see, gradually it'll get harder and harder to stay on the track. So enter slow and apex around the back side of it. Brake hard here, and the left turn is over the edge of the hill. You want your braking done before you go over this hill. You can't turn, brake, and go downhill at the same time. You'd just slide. So get your braking done, turn into the left, back on the gas, and then tap of the brakes before this left turn, come into an apex, and track out at the end of the curbing there. Now this transition, you can enter faster than you can survive. So you're going to want to brake hard as you come up over this, I don't know, crest, whatever it is, before you get into this kind of a slalom looking area. Brake hard, and that way you go in slow and you stay under control. If you get in too fast or you mix up your braking and turning, and you're going to slide through there, lose control, and wind up off. So again, slow in, fast out. Now I tap the brakes here going up the hill. That way I can make this apex, and I'm gradually just laying on the throttle all the way through this big section. All right, now brake hard here. This is called a roller coaster, and you want to be on the right side of the track. If you go off on the left side of the track, you'll go off on the left side of the track because the track kind of slopes away, and it's very hard to stay on. So brake hard, go into the curb for the apex and stay inside, and then as you go downhill, you're golden. Go back to the left side of the track for the curbing, and you're going to tap the brakes here. In hog pen, you want to enter under control, another slow in, fast out section. Really, this next series of 3 turns is all to set you up for the last one. So turn in here, nice and under control, enter here, and now you're really laying on the throttle because this is your last turn before the straight, and that's the one you want to get right. And there you go. That's the talk through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, pause, rewind, and switch up the view so it's kind of an exterior view of the car, and there we go. Down the front straight, braking hard, all the way to the edge of the pavement, bring it in, into that curbing, gradually track out to the end of the curbing on the outside, go through the bend, again kind of make a straight, tap on the brakes, and then turn into NASCAR. Brake hard, so on this turn you can hug the left side of the track and you'll be better set up for the right hand turns. This one. And this next one's really critical to get important. Go in slow here so that you have a nice controlled S's that you can run through with the hammer down. Alright. Uphill S's, again tap of the brakes, looking in the mirrors and looking forward, making sure you're not going to have any problems with other cars. And basically bouncing from curbing to curbing. On this last turn, make sure the car is settled, then get on the brakes. Brake hard for the entrance to Oak Tree. Make a little straight again, brake again, and turn in. Now, again at Oak Tree, you can hug that inside curb if it's crowded there. As a matter of fact, hugging the inside is preferable than trying to make it on the outside. I mentioned it on full course, that outside's full of bits of tire and sand, and you're just going to slide off. All right, into the braking zone, and again, brake hard and early for this because you want to enter nice and slow, hang to the outside, and just gradually wind your way to the inside of the curbing as you come around to the other side of the turn. And actually probably apex that one a little early. And again, get your braking done before you get over this hill. Another tap of the brake so you can make this turn. And then you get into this kind of transition section. And again, you really want to brake hard, go in slow, and just kind of drive it like a nice big slalom. Now, Go uphill, you may tap the brakes so you can make it into the curbing, and then it's kind of a nice big arc to the left. You go up the hill all the way onto the straight and brake hard so you can make it to the inside edge there of the roller coaster turn. You can brake hard before going into hog pen. And again, these 2 turns are to set you up for this last one, full throttle all the way onto the straight. Okay, that's it. We'll see you at the track.